Alright, today we're going to start our elevations. This is elevations part 1, and you should have been given a sheet of 11 by 17 of the exterior elevations and what they look like. You also need the one where we gave you the wall section. We're not going to draw that today, we're going to use it for reference. But you'll also need your floor plan so you can gain the dimensions that you need from your house. So if you kind of have those handy as you do that, go ahead and tape your paper down square with your T-square and be prepared to start drawing. Of course, you'll need a pencil and you'll need a triangle, and then you'll need also your whatever scale that you have with you today as well. So what you want to do is, first thing is, go ahead and prepare this on your paper, and we're going to put the front elevation. That's where we're going to start. It's going to be put on the bottom, and we're going to start with the baseline of the house. And if you'll just go ahead and just draw you a baseline. Again, you might want to do this light to begin with, and we're going to draw that right straight across. Just, I'm doing it in yellow here so that hopefully you can see it. See that baseline? That's going to be our ground, and then we're going to measure up. You're going to measure up at a quarter scale, 8 inches from there, and that is going to be your floor line. And for right now, you can just go ahead and put it in like a light, almost like a center line, which is long and a short dash, a long and short dash, long and a short dash. You'll notice over here at the garage area that the garage is going to be down a little farther than your finished floor line of your house. So again, from the ground up, basically in this area here, not counting your garage, measure up 8 inches at quarter scale and draw you a light line across there. That's going to be the floor of your house. And just to show you what that represents on your wall section, that's going to be this area right here, which is your finished floor, which in this case is a concrete slab. And then you'll see this space right here. This is the actual finished grade, which is 8 inches up, and this represents the wall. And your wall is 8 feet 1.5 inches long. That works out with the mathematics of your stud length and putting plates on the top and the bottom. And you'll see that from that basically, let me get up here, this ceiling line, which is 8 foot 1.5, which is a nominal 8 foot ceiling, that you will see that see if I can get it oriented here. You drop down some from that 8 foot 1. You're going to drop down to where the fascia, top of that fascia is, which we'll be just drawing in a second. And for the purposes of our drafting, we're going to use about 7 inches, about a 7-inch drop. That will change depending on the pitch of your roof, but we're going to draw 7 and 12 pitch. So we're going to use 7 inches to draw that. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure up from that floor line that you just drew, 8 feet 1.5 inches. You can put a little tick mark there, and then you're going to measure down whoops, I'm sorry, I think I used the wrong scale over here. I did. That was a 3/4 scale. That drop is, I'm sorry for the confusion, but that drop is more like 4 inches, or actually probably a little closer to 3 inches from that ceiling line to the top of that fascia. So we're going to drop that down 3 inches from that 8 foot 1.5. So let me just start you again, and hopefully you won't get confused. Measuring up from that floor line that you just drew, which is not your ground line, which is 8 inches lower, you're going to measure up 8'1½", and you're going to put a little tick mark right there, and then you're going to drop down about 3 inches, and that's going to be the top of your fascia. So go ahead and you can draw that in. You can draw that fascia, the top line of that in, and for right now you can bring it all the way across. It doesn't matter. Just draw it light so that you can keep everything in perspective here, and keep everything straight and on the correct kind of atmosphere. So that fascia board is going to be 6 inches tall, so you can drop down from there down 6 inches, and you can draw that other bottom of that fascia line there. Now your roof is going to be approximately, at the tallest part, is going to be 10 feet 6 inches tall. So go ahead and measure from the top of that fascia up 10'6", and you can go ahead and draw that line across there. Over here on the side where your roof is a little bit on the smaller side because it's not covering your porch, we're going to measure up about 9 feet 4 inches from the top of that fascia to the top of that roof, and you can go ahead and draw that line in. Now you're saying, well, where do I stop them side to side? That's where you're going to need your floor plan to determine the measurements of your house. So you'll notice there that you have a 20-foot 8-inch dimension for your garage. You've got a 17/8 dimension from the side of the garage over to the edge of the porch, and you got 11 feet 8 inches from there over to the corner of your house. So we're going to use those dimensions to start, and we'll just start over here on the side of your garage. So you get your triangle out and just pick you a spot that you want to start, and you want to draw that line, straight up, that wall line that's right there on the edge of the garage. So go ahead and just draw that straight up. We can erase off what you don't need later, and then you're going to remember that garage is 20 feet 8 inches wide, so you're going to measure over 20 foot 8 inches, and you're going to draw the other side of that garage. And then you'll remember from that point over to where your porch column is here, that is 17 feet 8 inches, and you're going to go ahead and draw that line in straight up to where it hits the bottom of your fascia. And then you'll remember that from there over, I'll pull the camera over here just a little bit, from this point here to this outside point of your house is 11'8", so you're going to draw that in at 11 feet and 8 inches, and you'll tick that off, and you'll go ahead and you'll draw that line in as well. Now we'll go ahead and get the measurements for the overhang that you see in this area right here, and that side overhang is, we're going to draw it 12 inches wide. So from the corner of that over, you're going to go 12 inches and measure over, and then you're going to draw this part of your roof in up here till it connects to that ridge line, and that ridge line is there again. And then you're going to do the same thing over here on the main part of your house, from that porch column right there over, measure 12 inches. So you'll measure that as 1 foot, and then you'll draw that line in to where it meets the fascia, meets the ridge up here. Then we're going to come over here, and we're going to go ahead and measure over again 12 inches or 1 foot to this part of the roof that goes over top of your garage, and measure that, and from the ridge line down to the fascia, again, that's 12 inches off of that wall right there. And then your building is beginning to take shape at this point, and I'm going to describe to you how to do this roof pitch here in the next segment. But for right now, let's do the simple stuff, and let's go ahead and put these columns that we have in here on this porch, and those columns are 6 inches wide. And again, from your floor plan, you know that they are 6 foot 4 inches to that edge there of that column, to that column, to that side of the garage. And then you know the other one over there is 17.8 from the garage over there. So we know where that point is because we've already got it established. So we just need to measure in 6 inches and draw the other side of that column. And then again, we want to catch this column, this post in our porch, and we know that that was 6 foot 4 from the edge of the garage over to the edge, this edge of the column, and we're going to draw that in, and then we're just simply going to come over 6 inches and draw the other side of that porch column. Now at this point, you should have the basic outline of your house drawn, except for this sloping part that goes over top of your garage, and I'm going to explain that to you in the next segment. But for right now, before you go much further, let's verify that you have all those dimensions across the front of your house correct. So double check all your dimensions and all your heights, again using your floor plan as a guide, and using also that wall section that I gave you as a guide. And you already have a reduced scale of this elevation, so you know about what it looks like. And if you were using that to kind of get some measurements off of, you would use the 1/8 inch scale to take your dimensions off of that 11 by 17 sheet, but you would draw it on your big sheet at a 1/4 inch scale. So that's elevations part 1. And again, we'll be back in a little bit with part 2 and show you how to do this roof pitch and some of the other things as well.